Hi and welcome. I'm John and this is Unique Wargaming Terrain. Guys, in this video I'm going to show you, I'm going to make a Herdstone. Okay, there are 3 other projects that I'm going to be doing on, not in this video but in, next few videos, but I thought I'd get the Herdstone out of the way. So guys, I'll see you in a second. Right, so those of you that you're new here, guys, this is very easy. Everything I do here is very easy. I try and do it in a way that it's easy, as quick as possible, saves you as much money as possible, because more money means more models, more paints, more this, more that. For those of you regular here, guys, I feel the love, thank you very much. Okay, so this week I'm going to do a Herdstone. Yeah, so what is that? That is basically the Beastman army. They have a Herdstone, and it's basically where they put all their trophies and stuff like that. It's like a sacred stone that they worship. Now this can be used in games of, AOS, Warhammer, D&D. So first of all, I was going to go with expanding foam. Okay, I've got, I've done videos on how to make blocks and stuff like that, but I was going to have something like this, because normal Herdstone is only about yay big. You can see that's the huge size of that. That's enormous. But then what I thought was, with the expanding foam, I'd have to filler it with filler mix, so I won't be able to do much detailed sculpting on it. So I've got a huge piece of Kingspan over there that I'm going to do on. Now, with the Kingspan, it wasn't stored properly before it's given to me, so it started to warp. And the other thing is, where it was left to the elements, see how the yellow that is, it's gone to starting to just along the edges. So as you see, I saw silver paper, and take the silver paper off, and that's the size I'm going for. Okay, it's not much difference of size. Okay, but that's what I'm thinking, something massive like this. So on the battlefield, it's towering up and into above everything else. But with the Kingspan, the same as like XPS foam type stuff. I think this Kingspan is more used for wall and ceiling installation, whereas XPS is used for floor installation. I think that's the difference. If I'm wrong, someone let me know. But with this, I can actually do some, etchings on it and stuff like that, and sculpt into it before I got it down. Now, I really want to get onto this and get some really detailed stuff on it, but I also want to go through the bits box and take out bits and pieces to make trophies and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to get on with stripping the paper off of this, and then I'll film myself doing some etching. So guys, I'll see you in a minute. I'll show you a quick trick with this. So take all the paper off. Okay, now I've done this side already, but I'll show you this side. Right, first of all, I've trimmed the top to make me a nice point, because it was coming up quite flat. Now this side is quite smooth. You see that, how smooth that is? Okay, so what you want to do is take a blade, and you're going to bevel the edge. Okay, but what you're going to do is, you're beveling it, you're going to go in, you're going to go up, you're going to go to the left, lean one way, go along a little bit, lean another way, and just keep doing this. Now, as you can see, look, sorry, the light's gone, it's really bright coming in, it's nice and jagged, yeah. So now we do this side, and see how flat that is. Okay, now we've got a nice jagged. Now with this, you can see here it's flat, and it's jagged either side. So what I'm going to do is take the blade and just do the same thing, but going up in the middle a little bit. I don't want to go too far down into it. I'm talking when I'm cutting, sorry guys. Now you can see, it's hard to see because it's white and the light's reflecting onto it, but there's some nice textures there, you see them. So now I've got a nice flat surface also to do edges and stuff like that. And my initial thinking, I've got a giant kit sitting over there. Now the plastic giant comes with like 2 or 3 different head types, and one of them is like with horns. So I'm thinking of taking that head with the horns and gluing it somewhere up the top. Anyway, I'm going to crack on with that. Oh, the other thing is as well, I was going to put it onto like a heel type thing. Yeah, I just got this out to measure the height and everything else. We're going to do something like that, okay? The only problem that is, I think the polystyrene would have to be fully mixed, okay? The join and everything else. But also with the polystyrene, I wouldn't want it to warp. It shouldn't warp, but I wouldn't be sure. So I'm going to go for a bit of weatherboard, okay? Just cut a piece and have it so it gives me a nice little, obviously not this size, I'm just, you know, having a look to see what it looks like. Something like that. Because then if I do need to run a little bit of filler along the bottom just to seal the join, so you can't see the join, I can, or I can put a little flock there or something like that. I'm still debating that idea. So the polystyrene would be easier to work with, but I don't know. I'm going to mull it over a little bit and everything about it. Come back to you in a minute, guys. See you in a sec. So, as you just saw on the hyperlapse, I was doing some work here, and then I said, let me have a look, let me just have a flick around, because with the camera, when I set it on hyperlapse so I can do it really quick and so you a couple of seconds, so it takes me, you know, an hour or so, I can't see the camera. I have to go around to the back of it. So I had a look at it and I could see that you couldn't really see what I was doing. So I said, okay, I'll stop that and just carried on. So I'm going to talk you through what I did now. So what you saw me using was a ballpoint pen, okay, and drawing the brickwork onto here. Now I was going to do brickwork on the side as in individual bricks, but I thought myself I'd have to undercoat the whole thing black, then glue the brickwork on, then undercoat all of that, and that's just adding a lot of time, gluing and drying time onto something that doesn't need to do that with. I can use a pen to draw it on. So you saw me with the straight edge ruler, okay. All I done was get a straight line and then just on the bricks from there. I'll show you now. So here we are. Okay. Now some of it, you're looking, oh, you just drawn, no, it is actually, you can see the stair, it dips in. Okay. So I drew the bricks all the way along, and then when I got to the edges here, I came down. Okay. So then when I from the top, I went to the side here and just started doing all the brickwork. Okay, then come to this corner and done the same thing again. Of course, I've come all the way down from the top, so I've done this side again, and just worked my way around. Okay, now then what I done was got a Beastman brush, because I use this to brush the table down because I get this bits of fluff everywhere. And I've got, some of you would have noticed I've got a nice green sort of flock mat on the table for games. But I've got this, good, brush it down, and just brush it. Okay, just keep brushing it, and what that does is, in the little bits, if there's any little bits stuck in there, it pulls them out. Okay, now for the likes of this, okay, when I was using the pen, and I was going over it and over it to give me a deeper groove. Sometimes it did flick bits out, but that's fine because when I paint it, that's going to give it all more texture. So, and I've got the little bit I cut out here is here. I've done the same thing to it. So when I glue it on, okay, it just looks like a step going up into it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dig the pieces out for this, okay, I'm going to use on it, then I'm going to do etchings all over it, front and back, hot glue all the bits onto it, pin it and hot glue it onto this and hot glue this to the base and everything else. So what we're looking at is something like this. Step back so you can see it properly. Something like this. Okay, you imagine something like this on the battlefield. We don't muck around over here, do we? Anyway, so I'm going to crack on with hot gluing that down and hot gluing this and getting all the bits out and all that sort of stuff. And I'll see you when it's all, say, undercoated. I might even just undercoat it, and then when that's dry, give it a base coat, and then we'll go on to paints and stuff. So anyway, guys, before I jump too far ahead, I've done some etchings on it. What I've done, I did do etchings on the back. So what I've done is got a little blade, dug it in and flicked it out. Okay, so there's all potholes on the back. I then got this brush, a wire brush, and I didn't give it a brush down anything else, not making it like timber. So what I done was just dig it in, yeah, just around the holes, give it a bit more of a texture to it. I then gave it a brush down, okay. And then I've got two bits of tin foil, both of different type shapes, as you can see, yeah. So they both give me different textures. So then I gave it a once over with that, and a little bit on the side here, and gave the front a bit. Gave the brickwork the same. So now I'm ready to glue and start, dig out the giant head and a few other bits of pit trophies to go around it. But then I'm ready to start gluing everything down. So see you soon, guys. Let me get this out of it. As you just saw on the hyperlapse, if you look closely, you might have to just wind a bit and have a look, but when you look closely, you can see the pillars, there's bits of white here and there. Now, that's not an issue, because when I come to dry brush and everything else, most of those white bits, speckle bits, will be blended in. And any bits that's too much, I can put a bit of PVA glue there and put some flock into it. It's not a problem. Like come foliage or something like that, it's not a problem. But the mistake I did with them, I learned as soon as I paint them, I should have painted them first and then hot glued them on, and then done the rest of the, you know, I just got a bit carried away and hot glued them on, but it's not a big loss because I can, like I said, when it's dry brushed, any speckle bits of white will be not noticeable. But what I'm going to do with this, I've just put some burnt umber on the base there. I'm going to leave that to dry. Then I'm going to go back over the top part and the pillars with the black one, painter's grey. I actually come across an ivory colour made by this company, and I've got that. So I'm going to be experimenting with that on this to see if it's the same, if it comes out the same as like Screaming Skull. It's going to save me a heap of Screaming Skull paint. So that's another thing that I'm going to try on this. But see the ogre head, not ogre, giant's head, sorry, with the horns. It's coming together nicely. There's a lot of fine little brushwork to do in here with the barrels and shields and arrows and, you know, the odd little bits of trophies here and there, and then the flame work for the pillars. Now, some of you are going to say, how did you do the flame work for the pillars? What I did, because I did it and I didn't record because there was some next door welding and it was just, you know, I couldn't. So I was okay. I got some tin foil. Okay, here you are. Okay. Really quickly. Pull off a scrap. Okay, then what I've done is I fold it. Let's give me like that sort of edge. Fold it again. I keep going around folding it. getting it smaller and smaller, as compact as possible. Okay, so it's got this sort of shape. Then what I did was I got my finger in the middle, and started trying to weld it around my finger. Okay, so this gives me sort of a curvature. Don't know if you can make that out. Okay, it gives me sort of like a curvature bit. I then got a cocktail stick, snipped it in half, pushed half through, hot glued it to the tin foil. Now be careful with tin foil when using hot glue, because it is a metal and it will hold the heat, as I found out a few times. I then got, if I can reach, cotton balls. Okay, just a cotton ball, and I broke a bit off of it. I then hot glued the cocktail stick and put that onto the cocktail stick, and then left that for a minute or so. When it dried, I then hot glued the underneath, put it on top of the pillar, and then pinched the cotton wool and pushed the cocktail stick in. So when I come to paint these on here, I'm going to paint them like a beaten copper. Now some of them haven't had fully hit with the spray, so they're a bit silver still, which is great, because a bit of beaten copper here and there will make it look like it's, you know, it's been used and used. The cotton wool itself as well, parts of it have been hit with black paint and parts of it are still white. So again, when I start adding some, you know, some colours to that, a bit of orange into the white bits, reds and all that stuff, it should, you know. The only thing I'm contemplating is do I lighten up the area underneath to make it like a light source? You know, I don't know. I might try it, but I don't know. But at the same time saying that, I was actually thinking, instead of doing like normal flames, but do like purple flames or red flame, not red, but like purple or blue or something like that, or even green, and then try and illuminate the area underneath it, because that will contrast the stonework as well. So I'm still thinking of that idea. But 18 inches from the base, as in when it's on the table, from the table to the top here. Another thing I didn't think about until I started painting it was, how am I going to store this? Now, the only way I can store this is bubble wrap around this bit, bubble wrap each of the pillars, and then just try and bubble wrap in between. Okay, and just try and do that way, and then put it on a shelf or somewhere out of the way, or put it on top of something behind me, so it's on top, but I don't know if it'll fit in that gap. It's not big enough. I don't know. I do these things. It's just a crazy idea. Yeah, let me get on with it. And then it's like, oh. But anyways, I'm going to crack on with it, and I'll see you in a second. Right guys, I started using a bit of this. This is pearl white. And I tell you what, it's not, I mean, looking at it going on, I didn't do the whole thing, running a little bit just to get myself a little taste for it, and it doesn't look that great. Even when I took it out, it was very it looked very metallic-y. It was very shiny here and there. It looks actually like hair shampoo, you know, whatever brand it is, I can't remember now, but it's quite, yeah, and it's little shiny bits in there, and you can't pick that up there. It's just horrible. So I'm going to leave that to dry, and then go on to just get Screaming Skull back onto it. Just do it that way. Giving it a little bit more, another coat of the painter's grey, just in the brickwork. Again, I should have painted them first and then hot glued them on, but then from that, there's a lot of detail work to do in here with the barrels. And now let me lift up and show you. You see the, you know, it's okay, it's just not the best. You see the barrels there. Got a pile of arrows there with some pitchforks and some shields and a bit of armour and this sort of skeleton thing at the front here. All from the giant kit. So I'm just going to leave that to dry and then go back onto it. It's disappointed me a little bit because I was hoping that would be, you know, the same as, because it's a lot cheaper, bigger size. We'll see how it dries, because I might be surprised when it dries. So guys, I'll see you in a minute. Right, so I wait for that to dry, and it was okay. but it didn't have the same effect as the Screaming Skull. So I said, no, let me just not even mess around with that, go straight to Screaming Skull. And just, you know, here's where I'm at the moment, guys. Okay, some of you are going to spot the green on here straight away. I start to put some dark green in there into the cuts and the grooves, that the runes that I made, and then done it around the edge, just because it was Volcan green, is it? Yeah, Volcan green layer paint. So as it dulls down, it's still a little bit wet, but as it dulls down, it goes really dark. And then I can use a really light green just to try and show like there's power coming out of it. I started working on this guy. Okay, there's a few bits and pieces over here the back here I've started working on. Okay, just I'm on to that detail work. I still need to do the flames and the base. But for the flames, because I did the kill team, and I used the purple combination of Nagroth Knight and Gently the Purple, I'm going to go for that on the flames. There's two reasons. One, I like the colour, the combination, and the second thing is I want to try and not have, like, if I have orange and reds and stuff like that, they have the same effects, but I want to have something different to normal flame. I'm not very good at making normal flame, so go for something magical. I can't do green because I'm going to have green on the stone itself. So that's where I'm at. The last thing I do is I'm going to do the dry brush the base, because I always forget to say to you guys, whenever you're working a piece of terrain, the safest way for painting it is to always work from the top and work your way down. Because if you make a mistake from the top and it ends up on the bottom, like on the base or anything like that, you can just go over it. If you start on the base and then go to the top and it makes it, you go over the base again. So anyways, I'm going to crack back on the detail work, and I'll see you probably at the end. Take it easy, guys. See you in a minute. Right, so we're all done. Absolutely fantastic. I really like it. It's a bit big, and you'll see this in a minute. Pillars I should have undercoated first and painted them first, and then hot glued them down. It's not an issue because, you know, they've turned out okay. Apart from that, just the flames I'm not sold on. I've done them, they're done, but I'm not sold on them. I was actually looking at thinking of maybe doing a little bit of a yellow dry brush over the top afterwards. I'm not sure, but when you see it, you chuck a comment around, let me know. It's nice. I'll give you pretty pictures now, so please like, share, subscribe, turn notifications, and I'll see you next time. Pretty pictures coming, but I'll see you next time. So there's the Beastman starting to get ready for battle in front of their shrine, or their Herdstone, sorry. It's getting glow so you can have a good look. See that there's shield and a bit of armour against the wall there, some pile of arrows, cut pitchforks, a barrel, a couple of barrels. There's the flames, guys. What do you think? Well, I'm not 100% sold on them. Anyway, guys, until next time, see you later.